Hello, everyone. Welcome to another DCU Daily. Here, we much earlier show, but we managed to get things done a little bit quicker. So we decided, hey, let's start a little bit earlier today. So, hello, welcome to the show. But today we don't have a ton of news, but we have a bit and stuff to talk about. Obviously, we're going to be talking about weekend box office with Conjuring cleaning up, and Warner Brothers having another win because of that. And then, F1 might be getting more popular because of the movie, the actual sport, and deals might be made to really be getting that forward. And, Greg Cipes had a lot to say about a certain firing in terms of his Beast Boy character, so we have a lot to say about that. Then, we have Benny Safdie and The Rock teaming up maybe again. We got some trailers, got some MCU news, got some quick hits. And then we're going to be talking, probably our biggest story today is that Penguin really cleaning up the Emmys, getting a ton of awards, and then that Peacemaker might be a little bit more important than we thought. But, and then, of course, talking about Superman, how that's garnering a hell of a profit. So let's get into all of that and more after this wonderful, wonderful intro.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. And you're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
There we go. Third time's a try. But welcome to the show, guys. John, if you're new, nice to meet you. If you're not, welcome back. Nice to see all you wonderful people once again. So, I'd just like to welcome a couple people to the chat. Hello, Patrick, and hello, Dark Elite Eric. I don't know if that's Elite Easy E under a new name, or if that's a new person, but welcome anyway to the show. We have a ton to talk about today on this wonderful, wonderful Monday. Well, maybe not a lot, but just enough to really get by. It might be a quicker show today. Dan is very tired right now. He had a lot of plans over the weekend and today, so he's probably not going to be joining us. But if he does, it'll be a nice surprise. But let's get started into the news, because the first thing that we are going to be talking about is The Conjuring. The Conjuring, apparently Last Rites, which is the newest film in the Conjuring franchise and possibly the last, apparently it possessed over $83 million all over the US. So, breaking tons and tons of records, and we're going to be getting into that soon enough in terms of Warner Brothers. But it's apparently the third biggest horror opening ever, and it breaks franchise records. It shows that people still love the Conjuring verse. So I don't know. This might not be the last, especially with how the uptick with Warner Brothers. They might be, really, really, really getting it in there. Hello, Monique. Happy Monday. Absolutely lovely to see you. But yeah, the Conjuring. This doesn't shock me at all, because I know that the Conjuring verse, it's loved. It's like simple popcorn horror. It might not be the scariest thing ever or the best made thing ever, but a lot of people love it, and they're highly enjoyable films. So hello, right, dude. Welcome to the show. But yeah, apparently so 83 is, as it says here, 83 US. It's just domestic because apparently it's the third highest opening ever for a horror movie at the domestic box office with $83 million, and the second biggest worldwide at $187 million. So, and as it says here, the original global outlook was $80 million. So, people want to see Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson just fucking murking some demons, it seems like. And, congrats to them. And, congrats to New Line once again, because it seems like, I mean, Warner Brothers is doing well for themselves, yes, but it also feels like that New Line is garnering a lot, and I mean a lot of money and a lot of praise for Warner Brothers this year, because Warner Brothers has just been killing it, and we will be getting into that soon enough. So, as also welcome to the chat, Antonio. And WB is indeed on fire. Many thanks to New Line, but hey, that is still, a high bar to be with. But yes, so this would mark the third Warner New Line film. Like, Warner Brothers has the top 3 biggest horror openings, with both of the It films at the top 2 spots. The first Chapter 1 film with 123.4 million, and It Chapter 2 at 91 million. And then, of course, remember, Welcome to Derry is going to be coming out late October, I believe October 26th. I don't know if we talked about that, but but yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. Was it 24 back in the day? I don't know exactly what that means, but please let me know what that means, because I don't know. But yeah, I think congrats to Conjuring, and then of course we do have another article here from Deadline talking about the global, as I mentioned. But this one says 194. So it seems like the actuals with the Monday update is 194, not just 187. But yeah, it seems to be that it was just a little bit more. The actuals make it 84 million and 110 million. So the high is actually 194. So again, congratulations to Warner Brothers, but it seems like, yeah, they might be, honestly, I can't see them getting rid of this franchise anytime soon. We might be in like a new dawn in terms of like this franchise, because it just keeps making money, and I can't imagine that they'll give that up anytime soon, especially when Warner Brothers really needs it because of what's going on. But of course, in terms of other films this week, Weapons came in with 4.6 million, and Materialist came in at 3.1, F1 with 3 million, Freakier Friday with 2.6, Jurassic World Rebirth with 2.3, Caught Stealing with 2.3, the Demon Slayer movie Infinity Castle with 1.8, Naked Gun with 1.5, Smurfs with 1.5, remember that movie, How to Train Your Dragon with 1.3, and then Superman with 500,000. So it definitely seems like that's not surprising, since Superman is on down low, but we have more to talk about in regards to Superman, so don't worry about that. And then in 820, was 8, like, you put a space in between, that's why I was confused. Yeah, exactly. Yes, because it was New Line was the house that Freddy built. So, definitely catering more towards the horror crowd, and they keep, with those wins. But this isn't the only happy news for Warner Brothers. Now, Warner Brothers, we recently reported, with the addition, I believe, of Weapons, that Warner Brothers has now had the 6 consecutive films that have gotten over $40 million in its opening weekend. And well, Warner Brothers just beat their own record, because now with Conjuring Last Rites, Warner Brothers has now made 7 consecutive movies opening above $40 million. So not just Conjuring Last Rites being a franchise record or a horror movie record, but Warner Brothers just got their additional 7th film to break their own record of consecutive movies opening above $40 million. So I say what you will about David Zaslav. Yeah, he might be an asshole. He might be a piece of shit. He might be, he might be all the things. He might hate animation. And don't get me wrong, don't appreciate that. However, considering the debt they're in and considering what Zaslav has done with turning around this company, honestly, I can't help but congratulate them, because Warner Brothers was always one of those was the director studio. It was the studio where like they would let directors like have creative control, have their visions, and this is definitely, it seems like they're kind of that case, but they have like a mix of franchise stuff, they have a mix of director vision, heavy movies. So it seems like Warner Brothers is back on top. Well, maybe not on top, because Disney is going to remain on top for the longest time, but still, congratulations. For a while, like, I was like a Warner Brothers hater, but now it seems like they're actually learning from their mistakes, which you can't exactly say for Disney. So it seems like we're at the go ahead now. You know, but in terms of another Warner Brothers distributed film this year, Formula One, which was one of the 7, apparently that Formula One is happy and comfortable with late stage U.S. rights talks, and the CEO of parent Liberty Media says, Apple is reportedly in pole position. Haha, very funny. But apparently, Derek Chang, the CEO of Formula One parent Liberty Media, did not mention Apple by name, but said Monday that the company is pretty far along in talks with a U.S. media rights partner. Now, several weeks ago, press reports said Apple had made an aggressive bid on the rights, emboldened by the box office success of the blockbuster F1 the movie. The Athletic reported in July that Apple has offered between $120 and $150 million a year for the rights, significantly more than the roughly $90 million bid of current rights holder ESPN. And the current deal expires at the end of 2025. Now, this could be definitely a new I would say, Patrick, they're doing great quality wise, most definitely. And Apple might be a winner here in terms of that, even though Warner Brothers did distribute the movie of F1 the movie. It was still an Apple production, and they got money to spend, not just from this movie but just from everything else. So it's like, hey, might as well double down on what we've done with F1 and just really go ahead with this and just fucking snatch up those rights from ESPN. And they might be able to do something with it that is not being done now. And they might use, even though F1 was more of a hit overseas, I think out of like 90% of their profits were from overseas. I think it was like 186 over here, or like around 200, but it was like almost 500 million overseas. But this might be a new beginning for F1 in the States, possibly. So Joseph Kaczynski might have, and Formula One F1 the movie with Brad Pitt might have done something with this. But obviously we'll have to wait and see. But the next story we have is certainly a controversial one. It's been making the rounds today, and there's certainly more than what meets the eye. Yeah, exactly. But people love the Conjuring verse. But here, in regards to the next story, as I was saying, Warner Brothers, we were kind of pumping up Warner Brothers a little bit, but this next story is making the rounds. I heard a lot about it. At first, I was pretty angry about it, but now with more information, it might not be what it seems. So apparently, Greg Cipes, who has voiced Beast Boy since Teen Titans premiered all the way back in the early 2000s, apparently he claimed that he had been fired by Warner Brothers after Parkinson's diagnosis. Now, he was mentioning, I believe, on a podcast and then doubled down on it online, that he was saying that apparently, um, that on Valentine's Day of this year or last year, I forget what it was, that the company actually fired him. And that was the day, and Valentine's Day this year was the day after he got his Parkinson's diagnosis. Now, obviously, fans are up in arms. They want Warner Brothers' head. They want him to get hired back, even though everybody hates Teen Titans Go. So I don't know why fans are in a tizzy over that part. But apparently, a lot of people are pissed about this. And I was pissed when I heard this because I'm like, Warner Brothers, you were doing so good. And now you unceremoniously fire someone based on a disease that won't even affect their voice. Like, this is ridiculous. This is like bottom barrel levels. Like, come on now. Um, exactly with the F1 story. So I was, yeah, as I said, I was angry, and I think a lot of people are. However, what I think there's more to the story here because, you know, he did say this. So, replying to an Instagram post about Cipes firing from the Cartoon Network series, the voice actor alleges he was unjustly cut after sharing personal health news. Warner Brothers literally fired me on Valentine's Day right after I publicly shared my Parkinson's diagnosis. In a second comment, he added, "It's like a death to me that only the fans can bring back to life." Um, you know, he's been voicing the Teen Titans Go version in 2013, and then um, there was a lot of stuff going on, but there's also this. A source close to the animated series know that the role of Beast Boy in Teen Titans was in the process of being recast due to creative differences, and this decision wasn't made in response to Sipes' health diagnosis revelation. In addition, Deadline hears that Sipes was offered to voice a different character on the show, for which he had already recorded lines for, and a development deal for a potential starring vehicle in the future. So this might not have been like a weird move at all in regards to the Parkinson's diagnosis, but it might just have been very bad timing. And it seems like, but there's also something else in regards to this. He also said this, apparently in April, which was after he said that he got fired from the series, he made a post that he shared his gratitude for the studio, saying, "Huge thanks to Warner Brothers for keeping me working as the Beast Boy I created for 25 years and throughout all this challenging Parkinson's health stuff. I'm feeling very good. Together, let the light shine on Parkinson's Awareness Month," which is in April, which is after he said he got unjustly fired from the show. So it seems like somebody's lying. It might be Warner Brothers, but they haven't said anything in regards to the matter. But it seems like Greg Cipes, he might have been caught in 4K on this one, guys. He might have been, he might be lying. He could be, there could have been some wires crossed. There could have been something in regards to this. Now, it's possible that, he just had a momentary lapse of judgment, momentary lapse of reason, that he just, forgot the timeline, or it could be something worse, that Sipes has been lying to maybe garner sympathy. Who knows? It also doesn't help that Greg Cipes is a known anti-vaxxer, which definitely does not help his argument at all in regards to a lot of people. So obviously we will wait for this to move along in the future, but it's definitely yes. So I just mentioned that, but some say it was his politics, being an anti-vaxxer. However, Letitia Wright, who is also a known anti-vaxxer, has not been fired from Marvel, and hell, she got her own starring film. So who knows what the actual reasoning was, but Greg Cipes might have been actually lying on this one. But obviously, we're not saying 100%. Obviously, our hearts go out to him, and hopefully, he can deal with this debilitating disease properly. And obviously, no matter what his beliefs are, it's still a sad disease. We've seen so many people have their lives taken away because of this. And obviously, it's always important to raise awareness for Parkinson's. So, it's a sad reality that he does have to live with, unfortunately. And I don't want to throw him under the bus. I'm not saying fuck the guy, he's an asshole, blah, blah, blah. But it seems like the math isn't mathing, the timelines are a bit off. So we'll have to see and wait for this to develop further. But let's not just immediately say, yay, Greg Cipes, and yay, Greg Cipes, and shit on Warner Brothers, but let's not praise Warner Brothers for getting rid of someone based on their political beliefs and shitting on Greg Cipes either. I think it's a very shade of gray situation and something that we need to wait for it to develop in the future. So that's neither here nor there. But before this gets a little bit too heated, let's move on to our next story. Now, our next story is a little bit lighter. It's apparently about the Smashing Machine duo, Benny Safdie and Dwayne Johnson, who they're obviously doing press for the Smashing Machine, with Safdie directing and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson starring as Mark Kerr. Apparently, they're reteaming on a film called Lizard Music. So apparently, it's based on a Daniel Pinkwater novel, and he's going to direct The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, as the role of the Chicken Man, and the package will be shopped immediately. And as if you don't know, an additional thing, Safdie won the Silver Lion at Venice Film Festival, which is an award for the best director of the festival. But if you don't know what this is about, obviously, the plot, when a boy left to his own devices stumbles upon a secret late-night broadcast of lizards playing otherworldly music, a hidden door to the extraordinary swings open. His search for answers leads him to the eccentric and whimsical Chicken Man and his beloved companion, a 70-year-old chicken named Claudia, two kindred spirits who have also glimpsed the impossible. United by this shared vision, they set off on an adventure that begins as a hunt for a hidden society, but blossoms into something far greater, a voyage through invisible worlds, unexpected harmonies, and the unbreakable bond between lost souls who discover magic not only in what they find, but in each other. This is definitely an interesting one, and I'm sure someone as strange as Safdie could definitely make this work. But I hope it's an animated movie, because that sounds like something Leica would make, and it would be brilliant. Yeah. So that's kind of what we're at right now, but obviously we will have to see. So, I'm excited for this strange little movie. I'm excited for the Smashing Machine. I'm not a huge UFC fan. I'm not a huge fan of The Rock either. But this actually looks genuinely good, and props to The Rock for actually finally acting. So good for him. But yeah, I'm excited for this project. I'm excited for how this will go. Obviously, we don't have a ton of information in regards to this, but I mean, yeah, it could be heavily CGI. It could be Pixar light. I don't know, but it definitely sounds interesting, and I hope it's animated. But if it's not, I'm curious how they'll make that work. So obviously, we will have to see in regards to that. But this is definitely a very exciting thing. So, but yeah, congrats to congrats to Benny Safdie, congrats to The Rock for finally trying to act. Good for them. I'm excited to see Emily Blunt in the film as well. So yeah, awesome, great. Yeah, so very exciting. But the next thing we have is SNL. SNL finalizes season 1, 51 cast. Bowen Yang, Chloe Fineman, and more return. And for all the people that care, because this is the only thing that SNL is actually good at anymore, Colin Jost and Michael Che will be back for Weekend Update. Thank God. But after it seemed to be like this, what was reported as a bloodbath in regards to the SNL firings and leavings and all that stuff. But you know, obviously, people returning are Mikey Day, Sarah Sherman, Marcello Hernandez, Andrew Dismukes, and James Austin Johnson, as well as Ashley Padilla and Jane Wickline coming back for their second season. But Heidi Gardner was probably the biggest name the biggest in terms of how long she was there, leaving, in addition to Devin Walker, Michael Longfellow, and Emil Joaquim, as well as breaking up the sketch comedy trio Please Don't Destroy, which they ended up doing. Whoopsie daisies. As Martin Herlihy moves to writing staff and John Higgins has left the show. As well as Ben Marshall has been up to the main cast on SNL with some fresh faces of Tommy Brennan, Jeremy Culhane, Cam Patterson, and Veronica Slowikowska. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but for all three people that are still watching SNL, congrats. I hope this is no, he's not 70. No. He's not 70. Sorry, going back to this. The eccentric, and so he's playing the chicken man, but his companion is a 70-year-old chicken. So just wanted to clear that up. But yeah, so for all the people that still actually watch SNL, awesome, great. I hope this is something that a lot of people can enjoy. I don't really watch SNL that much, except for the occasional weekend update that pops on my feed every once in a blue moon. So for all 10 of you that still watch the show, then congratulations. But the next thing we have is a trailer, and apparently the trailer for Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. I Dark Elite Eric saying I would trade Mikey Day, not hot or funny, with Michael Longfellow, hot and funny. Well, I'm glad you are saying that. Then sorry about that. But apparently, we do have. Whoa. Apparently, we do have this little trilogy coming about. Once Knives Out came out, Netflix optioned for 2 sequels to the Knives Out film. And we're getting that third one with Wake Up Dead Man. It seems like a kind priest has, sealed himself in a concrete box, and then a couple hours later was found dead. But like with signs of a struggle. So, and not just, suffocating. So this is like Benoit Blanc has to, solve this impossible crime. And let me take a wild guess. It's going to be the most obvious person in the room. Yeah, because that's what it usually is. So we have an all-star cast of Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, who is no stranger to the vicar lifestyle, Kaylee Spaney, Daryl McCormick, and Thomas Hayden Church. Ironic. And they round out the supporting cast along with Josh Brolin. So, this, I never really loved the Knives Out franchise. When everyone was going gaga over the first one, I felt it was kind of mediocre, not really all that special, very poorly written. Same thing with Glass Onion, didn't really care. So it seems like this is just another one that's much of the same. So yeah, I don't really care about this one, but sorry about that, guys. Just trailer seems fine. Again, it's nothing special. I'm probably not going to watch this. But yeah. Brogu, yes, the man, the myth, the legend. Brogu is here, everyone. Let's get this party started now. I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of ass kissing on SNL too, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, another Knives Out movie that I'm never gonna watch. Cool. Well, actually, I've seen the other two, but I'm just saying it's another movie I'm not gonna watch, and I don't really care about it. But we do for the last bit of news, we have a little bit of MCU stuff. A little bit of MCU stuff, but apparently ahead of Avengers Doomsday, Chris Evans is unlike The Rock, he's looking a little bit jacked. Mhm. Maybe even a huge jacked man. I'm not apologizing. Anyway, so we've gotten a little bit of daddy energy with Chris Evans at the Toronto International Film Festival, and he is looking jacked. And there he is. He's kind of looking like Alan Richardson in Ungentlemanly Warfare. So, you know, I will say he's looking a little bit leaner than Captain America, but still looking pretty cut for the Captain America role. So, but yeah, I think any examples? I don't know. It just seems like there's a bit of ass kissing on SNL a little bit. Like just it seems like oh they're that type of show that's like it seems unbiased, but it's really not unbiased. It clearly goes in one direction. And it's just like meanwhile South Park doesn't go in any direction. It's just make fun of everyone and I don't know if you like that comparison. I don't know what you're trying to say. Um, but but yeah, Chris Evans looking jacked, so he might be. I mean, there are the reports that he's gonna be like in charge of the anachronisms or whatever the fuck they're called, the incursions that started this whole multiversal Secret Wars Doctor Doom business in the first place. So and just going back in time and causing all of this. So obviously we'll have to wait and see in regards to this. But yeah, I think it doesn't mean a whole lot, but he is looking jacked. So, it does feed the whole idea of to be fair, Chris Evans was always in pretty good weight, pretty good definition. Um, so, I this might not mean anything. You know, obviously we will have to wait and see, but he's most likely in the film. We just don't know if all these rumors in regards to the incursions are actually true or not. So we will have to wait and see in regards to that. So, let's move on to the last news story. Apparently, another Marvel star sparks rumors after being featured in London, and of course, if you couldn't tell by the giant thumbnail right here, but Tobey Maguire has been spotted in London. Is he on a simple vacation, or is he filming a secret role for a bunch of other things? So, you know, um, Tobey Maguire is he is in London, and both Spider-Man: Brand New Day and Avengers: Doomsday are filming around that time. So um, I hope not, but it wouldn't shock me at all. So you know, so what's your guys' theory about this? I haven't really been interacting with the chat very much because there's not a ton of people watching right now. But, I don't I think it's, purely coincidental. I think he might have a cameo in Doomsday. I don't think Brand New Day. I think that part of that, storyline is definitely over. I don't think, I don't think he's gonna be featured in Brand New Day at all. Maybe a cameo at best, but I don't think so. I think he might have, like, a decent role in Doomsday, but have a bigger role in Secret Wars. Since Secret Wars, that was that was the big Spider-Man thing in regards to him getting that black suit, which wasn't initially Venom, and then it became Venom much later on. So, what are your guys's? Yeah, exactly. I'd rather he be in Avengers because since everyone else is coming back, it makes more sense. Um, exactly. I think it's the Doomsday Secret Wars stuff. I agree. Um, yes, Doomsday seems the more likely one. Either gonna be having a small cameo or some type of substantial role. Hopefully, he doesn't die, but obviously, we will we will have to wait and see. But yeah, this is possibly exciting for everyone that is exactly, interested in this sort of thing. I just I can't put my heart into this anymore because it just seems like a failure. Maybe a possible return of emo Peter. That's, something. Anyway, I can't play that whole clip, but uh emo Peter, anyone? That would be funny. But thank you, Dark Elite Eric. I appreciate your laughter. No, don't. I don't want him to die for good. He's the best Spider-Man. So, it's probably a cameo in Doomsday. That's the most likely. That's the most likely thing. But that is it for the news. So now we move on to something definitely quicker, and that is era. Quick. It's gonna be quick, I swear. This show's already going by quick, and it's probably gonna be under an hour. But we're gonna get in. We're gonna get through this quick. But the first bit of quickness is that related. It's Doctor Who related. But yeah, Billie Piper has confirmed that her regeneration from Shooty to her was a last minute call from the BBC. Now let's get her weird, terrible screenshotted face off the screen. And she had this to say in regards to the whole thing. I got the call last minute. It was to shoot in a hidden location, and there was only a few people who knew about it, and I wasn't able to say anything to anyone, including the people I love the most in my life. And I actually really like having a secret, so I'm so available to my family all the time. I actually like having something for myself, so I really relish in that secret. Yeah, so thoughts on that? That makes sense because that goes in conjunction with what everyone else has been saying. Like, Shooty was supposed to stay on, but then the last minute decision decided to leave because he's like, I can't sit around waiting for the show when I have tons of movies and other shows piling up that I want to do, and I can't, stay grounded to the show all the time. So yeah, that sounds, that sounds about right in conjunction with what has been said before. But next up, we have Mark Hamill fanboying over Stephen King. Now, as we all know, as it says in the hashtags up there, Mark Hamill has not been in just one, but two Stephen King adaptations this year. The Mike Flanagan helmed The Life of Chuck and the Francis Lawrence helmed The Long Walk. Now, here we have Mark Hamill geeking out over Stephen King, and then we also have him just talking to him after the premiere and just geeking out together. Yeah, Billy was okay. I liked her when I was younger, but then rewatching the show, I was like, eh. But it's very cute to see Mark Hamill fanboying over Stephen King. But next up, apparently Michael Caine has come out of retirement for an unlikely film, but The Last Witch Hunter, yeah, the movie that nobody remembers, is apparently getting a sequel from Lionsgate, and it's going to feature, obviously Vin Diesel and Michael Caine coming in here. So, yeah, Michael Caine won't come back for a Nolan movie, but he will come back for a Vin Diesel movie. Sure. But considering that Lionsgate used to have Highlander, but then went to Amazon MGM, it seems like they're trying to replace Highlander with The Last Witch Hunter with a similar vibe. So I'm going to take a wild guess is that's exactly what they're doing. And hopefully Michael Caine will possibly bring in seats rather than Vin sexual battery Diesel trying to fill in seats once again outside of Fast and Furious. So yeah, Michael Caine doesn't return for Nolan movies after Tenet, but he does return to this. Guess he needs the paycheck. Moving on to Prime. Speaking of Amazon MGM, Prime Video becomes streaming home to Sony Pictures and Roadshow movies in Australia. So anybody who's watching from the land down under, then you get to see some Sony Pictures and Roadshow movies on Prime Video. So hell yeah, way to go. True that. I guess so, but it just seems a bit ridiculous that he joins a Vin Diesel production, but sure. So yeah, anybody in the land down under, happy for you. Next up, Alicia Silverstone's Irish Blood, Acorn TV's top TV show ever, renewed for season 2. I don't know how much of a top show they have, considering I had no fucking clue this existed until now, and I've never heard of Acorn TV until right now. So, guess the top doesn't really mean anything. But I'm happy for Alicia Silverstone. She is an underrated talent, and she has not aged since her role in Clueless. So, yeah, congrats to her, and she is 100% a vampire. Next up, speaking of people who don't age, Ryan Reynolds. Apparently, he's going on tour for the John Candy documentary, I Like Me, presented by Clearly Canadian, yes, that Clearly Canadian, in partnership with Mills Entertainment, Maximum Effort, and Amazon MGM. The tour will stop in 8 cities and feature screenings and moderated chats. Very exciting. I don't really care for Ryan Reynolds that much. Yes, exactly, Brogu, exactly. I don't really care for Ryan Reynolds that much, but I will be watching this documentary because my love of John Candy outshines my hatred of Ryan Reynolds. So, very exciting for this documentary. Hopefully, I'm not too emotionally eviscerated from this, and we will be watching something very exciting. But yeah, cool. Can't wait to watch this. And then finally, this thing, I have no idea what this is, but I think it's important considering it's the breaking news story. But Lachlan wins Murdoch's succession war as siblings take major buyouts, legal battle settles. In a stunning development straight out of the HBO series Succession, the Murdoch family has settled its long-simmering dispute over the family trust, a settlement that will see Lachlan Murdoch walk away with the keys to the kingdom. The family announced the settlement Monday afternoon, adding that Lachlan's siblings, Prudence, Elizabeth, and James, will each become beneficiaries of new trust funded in part by the state of 14.2 million shares of News Corp Class B common stock and approximately 16.9 million shares of Fox Corporation Class B common stock that were previously held by the Murdoch Family Trust. So, for all of you who don't know what the fuck is going on, the rich are getting richer. Woohoo! Great! Yes. They are unfortunately still alive, and the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. That's all I can gather from this, and frankly, they can go fuck themselves. But that is it for the quick hits. Let's get that goddamn music out of here. Come on. We don't need that bossa nova elevator music. Come on. We don't need that. Anyway, but with this, thanks for watching the news portion of the show. We are going to now be getting into the DCU side, but thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you know when we go live. So we have weird days like this, so knowing when we go live on the weird days. But thanks for watching this side, and now let's be blessed from the beginning.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go. Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
Hell yeah. Welcome back. But welcome to DCU Daily. We are here and we are going to give you some amazing news. My name is John. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to DCU Daily. Nothing yet in regards to this wonderful show, but we no special things today. We did consider doing a Mount Rushmore Monday today, but unfortunately we couldn't grab anything in time. So, it was kind of a haphazardly done show, but we are going to be talking about a bunch of stuff in regards to the Penguin, Peacemaker, and Superman, and even Clayface. as well as some fan casting stuff. But wanted to answer this. Where is Dan and Liz and Bridget? Well, Bridget hasn't been on the show for a while. She only comes in like very desperate matters, but she only comes in because she has a very busy schedule, so that's why she's not on the show very much. But Liz is unavailable today. She's usually not available on Mondays and Fridays. And Dan is unfortunately very busy because he's still he's still in the middle of plans, so he won't be joining us today. But hopefully for Tier List Tuesday, he will be joining us tomorrow. But yes, that's why he is not here today. But you have me. I don't know if that's a disappointment or a happy moment, but yes. But let's get into the DCU news. The first thing is Alan Ritchson. Alan Ritchson, once again, after it was reported that he would not be joining the DCU as Batman, thank God. He would be joining could be joining as something else. Sorry, something keeps going on with my computer and I don't know what it is. Sorry about that. But Alan Ritchson had this to say in regards to that. But he said, no, I would never take that from Jason Momoa. I have too much respect. I would definitely want to explore new horizons, and I have a feeling we may. We'll see. It's definitely interesting because God, it's fucking huge. God, it looks like he's wearing like 14 layers. Fuck. God damn, he's fucking huge. Anyway, but the weird thing is about this is like, bro, he's not Aquaman anymore. He moved on. So I think you can get in there. Mobster henchman number 2. Perfect. So they do mention Wildcat. And I think he would be perfect for that, but that's just me because he's got the bigness. You don't need a ton of depth in regards to that character. That's true. He kind of never really was the character. He was just kind of the Zack Snyder interpretation of the character, which isn't totally bad because his first movie is still one of the best the DCEU had to offer. So, yeah, so he mentioned in this interview that he doesn't want to do Aquaman because he thinks that'll be disrespectful towards Jason Momoa, even though Jason Momoa probably would not give a flying fuck, considering he's the much better acquainted character to his overall aesthetic and personality with Lobo. So, just a bit of a strange little way of going about it. But, I think he could have been good, but I think he'd be a great Wildcat. Yeah, exactly. Wildcat definitely seems very much tailored to him. But yeah, that's only a little bit in regards to that. But yeah, here's another big story that we had on the thumbnail. Superman apparently was making bank, and he made a lot of bank in regards to, people saying, oh, it's a flop, it's a flop, it's a flop, it's a flop, it's a flop. Well, according to the numbers, it is definitely not a flop. So, obviously Warner Brothers has been coming back. We mentioned this at the top of the show that Warner Brothers is coming back into the fray with 7 consecutive films this year coming out with over $40 million at its opening weekend. So, it's Minecraft movie, Weapons, Sinners, Conjuring Last Rites, Final Destination Bloodlines, and then, of course, I'm probably forgetting one, but of course, Superman. So Superman so far has made $613 million. Now, a certain group of people will point out that, hey, that made less than the last Superman film. So that's kind of interesting. But here's the thing. It still made the most this year out of all the other films. But here's the the hypocritical thing. It's like, oh, it didn't make as much as Man of Steel. Oh, but that doesn't. And then when you say, oh, it made more than all these other movies, well, that doesn't matter because insert reasoning here. So, they'll say the money doesn't matter, but then also say the money is the only thing that matters. Yes, very early. 8 o'clock is usually when we are supposed to start to get going. Usually the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock shows, those are very against the grain, but that's what ends up happening anyway. No Dan today, sorry, but he will hopefully be here tomorrow. Again, hopefully. But yeah, anyway, so what we're saying about Superman. Now, Superman has, as I mentioned, made $613 million worldwide. And with all of that, people were like, oh, this is a super flop. It sucks. It's not going to be profitable. Well, it seems like it is profitable because the numbers in regards to all this, according to the trades, that Sinners is expected to generate around $60 million in theatrical profits. Final Destination Bloodlines with approximately 75 million. Weapons was 65 million. And F1, that was the other film I was forgetting. They were paid a flat distribution fee as well as a percentage of revenues in line with certain box office benchmarks, resulting in 34 million. And that will lead up to 600 million in profits. So, but here's the number that's the most interesting in regards to the Superman has apparently garnered at least more than all of these at $125 million. 125. So, for all the people that are saying, "Oh, this is a failure. This is a super flop. This is gonna suck. This is the worst thing ever." The numbers speak for themselves. It made $125 million. So I'm just saying that that's very, very interesting. Now, F1 the movie, it's making more than Superman right now at 619 million over Superman's 613 million. So, well, now it's at 614 million. But yeah, so Superman has made $125 million of profit. Now, here's the interesting part. Here is the interesting part. Now, apparently, you know what Man of Steel's profit was? 42.7 million. That's an interesting number, don't you think? That's a very, very interesting number. So all the people that are saying, haha, this is some kind of win, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Superman sucks. It couldn't even beat Man of Steel, even though, nobody can account for economics because everyone has not read an Economics 101 textbook. Superman, at the end of the day, still made more of a profit than Man of Steel did. So, eat a dick. But yes, Superman has made 125 million, and it seems like Warner Brothers is definitely making a lot of bank this year. Here we are, and the DCU train is full steam ahead, whether the Snyder fans are crying or not. What does theatrical proof mean compared to box office? What do you mean theatrical proof? I'm curious what you mean by that. But yeah, so Superman has actually been very profitable, and congrats to the film and congrats to Warner Brothers. But the next thing we have, this is a possible spoiler for Clayface. So we're going to move to the spoiler warning part and talk about Clayface. Now, this might not be a spoiler at all. This could be, just something to fuck up with the paparazzi. This could be something else. But if you really don't want to be spoiled, then clear away now. I'll be talking about it for a couple minutes, but then come back a couple minutes later. So, so Clayface, something was revealed on set that possibly could lead to the apparent ending of the movie. Now, whether this is true or not, maybe this is fake to put off paparazzi and to put off rumors, or it's something earlier on in the film and we just don't realize it. So apparently, a set photo has gotten this newspaper reading of Matt Hagen, where they say actor Matt Hagen is dead. Now, obviously, this might not be anything at all. This could be either fake or it could be, Matt Hagen was believed to be dead, but then he came back as Clayface, like he was absorbed, whatever. Or he's possibly just a one-off villain. So who knows? I'm very curious to know what you guys think about all of this. But I personally don't think that I don't think he's like dead. I don't think his Clayface is dead. But I think it's just like either people reported on it too early and then it was revealed he was alive, or the Matt Hagen like disappeared and like he faked his death and then just became Clayface, or he is actually dead. Who knows? But I'm curious to know your guys. Yeah, so Tom Reese Harry's still hot. Yes, our boy Ricky September, still very attractive. Also, hello, Ron. How are you? Also, we will take the spoiler warning off the screen, so and we'll move on shortly. But yes, I'm curious to know where and so the box office. Now, the box office is just the number that the ticket sales. Meanwhile, the actual profit is how much money it actually made minus the budget, the marketing, the tax up, like everything in regards to what is paid back into the production. So when people talk about box office, that's the revenue. Revenue means just the money you make flat out. Profit is how much actual money is in your pocket after everything else is accounted for. Like it's minus the budget, it's minus the marketing, it's minus everything. And so Superman made $125 profit while the revenue was $614 million. So I hope that helped. So we are doing very well. We have a much shorter live stream today. Dan is not here, and we don't have a ton of news stories for you guys. So we obviously will be getting into that probably much more stuff later on. But yeah. But yeah, I think this is very wonderful and very exciting. Now, the next thing we have is Peacemaker. Now, the Peacemaker trailer for one of the upcoming episodes revealed this little ditty right here, this black hole. Now, as we all know, the quantum folding chamber is revealed to be at the focal point of 100 universes, 99 others in addition to the one of the DCU. Maybe there's a DCU one out there. But apparently something in regards to Peacemaker, we do see a black hole, and it's very similar to the Pocket Universe black hole. So maybe this is a flashback. Maybe the quantum folding chamber is like this huge thing that will fuck up the universe, and they have to eventually close it, which is why the 6 to 8 episodes 6 to 8 are this way bigger thing. So yeah. I think this is really cool. I'm curious to know what your guys possibly. I mean, well, 125 million in comparison to all the lower budgeted movies. It made like for a big budget feature, 125 million that had pretty much everything going against it. That's still a good amount of money. Now, is it as much as what it would have made at the peak of superhero film trending media? Probably not. But I still view it as a win because everyone was saying, oh, this is going to flop. This isn't going to make any money. Well, it made $125 million. That's still a lot of money. And with a studio that has had 7 consecutive hits, that's a lot of money, especially when they garnered around $600 million in addition to those 7 films, possibly even more. Because I didn't see Minecraft movie mentioned, so they might even have even more than that. So, this is obviously really cool in regards to Peacemaker because we're getting some more sci-fi driven themes in regards to this. So exactly, Ron. Boom. There we go. See, Ron's pod. Well, you're Canadian, so that's like obviously that goes hand in hand. But yeah, so I'm curious to know what your guys' thoughts on this are. Is this in the last 6 to 8 episodes? Does this lead into the last not last 6 to 8, the last episodes, the last 3 episodes that are episodes 6 through 8? Because Steve G, James Gunn, Jennifer Holland, they have all been pumping up these last 3 episodes. So, with all of that, I'm curious to know what this means for it. Does this mean that like there is going to be a multiversal universe breaking threat? Is this just going to be maybe some kind of flashback? Maybe this is something with Lex Luthor and that he has a cameo in the film or in the show and they need his expertise and it results in like a flashback or they're doing something else. I don't know. I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts. I personally think this is like a peek into the ending of episode 5, which leads into this huge thing that's happening in episode 6 to 8. So that's what I think, but it seems very similar to the Lex Luthor Pocket Universe black hole. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I do believe that, and we will be getting into that soon enough. But yeah, it just seems very weird, and it just seems like James Gunn is like bouncing off the walls and can't really make sense of everything. But we will be getting into that soon enough. Actually, we're going to be getting into that pretty much right now. But James Gunn has teased that important Man of Tomorrow role, and that says Peacemaker is very, very connected. So this is what Ron was saying. James Gunn said this. This is from the man himself on Threads, on X, whatever. As I've said countless times, you can watch every project by itself, of course, just like you can watch Peacemaker by itself or watch Superman without seeing Creature Commandos, Gunn stated. But Man of Tomorrow and Peacemaker Season 2 are very, very connected. So, obviously, this is kind of a bit of backpedaling, but he does say that, like, you can watch it by itself. It's just that there is some connection. So the people that do watch both, there is like, I can see that. So, but I can imagine that, like, obviously, it's not gonna be trouble. Like, a lot of people have shit on Marvel that like stuff doesn't make sense if you don't watch this thing, and they expect people to watch this thing. So that's the thing I'm curious about, and hopefully he isn't making those same mistakes. But but without delving into spoilers, we can tell you that there's nothing overtly obvious in the 4th and 5th episodes of Peacemaker, which is the only other ones that most people have watched in terms of the critics and trades and stuff that set the stage for Man of Tomorrow. We can only assume that the final few installments will lay the groundwork for the DCU's future. So maybe there's a multiversal element in mind and all that. But apparently there is a big role for a certain Superman character, and it's apparently Lois Lane. But the filmmaker also confirmed to someone else that Lois Lane will have an important role in Man of Tomorrow, which leads us to maybe believe, will she show up in Peacemaker? Because if they are very connected, is she the crazy cameo that he's been kind of talking about? Because we've thought Superman, Lex Luthor, or Lois Lane, but we've also thought Mr. Terrific or Guy Gardner will come back. Hawker and Guy Gardner already came in, but maybe Guy Gardner will serve a bigger role that will lead into Lanterns. I've seen a lot of different theories, but these are from the man himself. But Nick Tiznato said, hey, there are some weird concerns about this R-rated DCU project. Shouldn't be the main direct tie-in to the main share arc with Superman and Man of Tomorrow, which are obviously PG-13. And you have said it many times that you don't have to watch season 2 to understand Superman or Man of Tomorrow, correct? Like shared universe aspects are just more context to that individual story. And then it said what I said before, that but Man of Tomorrow and Peacemaker season 2 are very, very connected. But he doesn't say that you need to watch one to understand the other, just that they're connected. So, James, how much of a role does Lois play in Man of Tomorrow? She's important. Obviously, being a character that is associated with Superman who will have a major role in that movie, Lois Lane is, of course, serving an important purpose. What are you talking about? The oh god, I hope not. What are you talking about in regards to that? Was it the cameo appearance? Was it not? I'm curious to what you said. I was looking at the article. Yeah, so Patrick's doing great. Hi, Enterprising. Hello. Sorry again for the mishap on Friday, but we still love and appreciate you. Lois being in peace, who knows? We'll have to see, but it could make sense if that she's important. Man, tomorrow she might show up, but I don't think she. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Do you think that she will have a cameo in Peacemaker? Do you think of something more? I don't know, but we will have to wait and see because there's a lot going on and a lot of stuff happening. But we will be getting into the final story, the final major story in regards to the Penguin. First things first, one of the Emmys that the Penguin won was in fact Best Original Score. And as we know, Mick Giacchino, who, like father, like son, created a baller score for the show, obviously garnering an award that he's very proud of him. It's a nice, wholesome thing. And yes, he should be very, very, very much proud of him. So, I think that's lovely to see. It's lovely for Penguin to finally really really get something. So, I think it's great. I think it's phenomenal. And congratulations to Mick Giacchino for that, and congrats to Michael Giacchino for having a very talented son, as they both worked on projects this year, and he's finally getting recognition for it. Yeah, yeah, very cool, very cool. But that's not the only Emmy it won. But apparently, Penguin was cleaning up shop. They didn't get the most amount of Emmys, but they got the second most amount of Emmys because Love, Death, and Robots, Arcane, and Andor all got 4. Severance, unsurprisingly, got 6, but the Penguin got 8. And you are correct, Patrick. There's another Emmy Award show this week, this Wednesday. Hence why it says most Emmy wins so far. So we will wait in bated breath for that. And congratulations to the Penguin. I mean, it's a fucking great show. It's, whether it's a mini series or a whether it's a mini series or it's and actually going to get a season 2, obviously we will have to wait and see. But yes, for everyone who doesn't know, it won for outstanding contemporary costumes for a limited series or anthology series or movie, outstanding contemporary hairstyling, outstanding contemporary non-prosthetic and prosthetic makeup, outstanding music, which obviously Mick Giacchino won, composition for a limited or anthology series, movie, or special original dramatic score, outstanding sound editing for a limited or anthology series, movie, or special, outstanding sound mixing, and outstanding special visual effects in a single episode, which was for the episode Bliss. Now, some of these are not for the entire show, but they are for various episodes. So it's not for one whole show. Like, for instance, outstanding costumes won for a great or little thing. Contemporary hairstyling got for was for Cent Ani, as well as non-prosthetic was one for Cent Ani. Then prosthetic makeup was one for After Hours. Same with Mick Giacchino winning for outstanding music was for After Hours. Same with sound editing and sound mixing. After Hours got a lot of them, and special visual effects was one for Bliss. So these one for specific episodes. If you obviously did not know that, so yes, you know, but I think Penguin will sweep. Well, they didn't sweep all the Emmys because the few that they did not win for Primetime Creative Arts Emmy Awards was casting, cinematography, title design, picture editing for 3 different episodes, production design, stunt coordination, and stunt performance. So they won for many of them, but they didn't win for all of them. So yes, we love the Penguin. Severance is tight. Thank you, King Sport Cal. Haven't seen you before, but nice of you to join us. Welcome to the show. I hope you stay subscribed and continue watching. So yes, we love the Penguin, but M2G saying Severance isn't a terrible show in concept, but it's paced horribly. That whole story could have been wrapped up in 6 episodes beautifully. For that, it's a terrible show. I have not seen Severance, so I can't judge. But Enterprising saying DC is winning. I don't care about what haters say. The DCU is doing good, as well as the Becks. Not just the DCU, but the Becks as well. Elite Easy saying DC briefly recaps everything and releases projects timely. Marvel waited years between Falcon and Winter Soldier and Brave New World, for example. Huge gap and long exposition in the film. Yes, that is true. But King Sport Cal defending Severance, and then congrats for Penguin. I agree, and saying so happy. But titles, yeah, it's a pretty great title. You can win for anything. That is true. They have a lot of hype because many of them are great and many of them win awards. Look at Severance. So, but yes, congratulations for the Penguin. We love to see it. And as Patrick said, there is going to be another award show on Wednesday. So we will be talking about that when, Wednesday or Thursday hits. So, awesome. Great. But that is really it for the show, guys. Thank you for joining us. I know, as I said, it's going to be a very short show today. Nobody to bounce off of, in addition to not a ton of news stories. It's been a very slow news cycle. So obviously, but for the rest of the week, tomorrow we will hopefully be doing Tier List Tuesdays. As you know, we do have that lovely ditty for you. Let me get the poll real quick so we can show you guys what where that is. But apparently, to the shock of no one, Phase 2 has been cleaning up, and yeah, so it seems like that MCU Phase 2 will be the tier list for tomorrow, following up the last week's tier list with MCU Phase 1 movies. But in second place right now is Batman actors. In third place is Alien movies. And fourth place is X-Men movies. So very excited. If you maybe want to try and get Batman actors to win, you can go to the poll. It's still up right now. Maybe you'll get a last minute win, but it's unlikely. So MCU Phase 2 it is. And then on top of the fact, we also have the tier list for, not the tier list, sorry, for Fancast Friday. I believe Dan put that one up. Let me just look real quick. But yes, hang on a sec. I don't think he put that one up, but that's okay. Yeah. So we'll be setting up a new Fancast Friday. We have some of our choices already. So we will be hooking that up soon enough. So, but yes, for tomorrow we have the MCU Phase 2 tier list in addition to the newest episode of Alien Earth. Then on Thursday, we will have the newest episode of Peacemaker, which is episode 4. And then on Friday, we are going to be doing Fancast Fridays of something, whatever you guys pick, once we put that poll up. So thank you very much, all of you, for watching. This show could not be done without you guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. I know. I'm sorry. Maybe they'll appear in a future poll. Yes. You did catch the tail, and you caught mainly the DC stuff, but thank you all for watching. Hopefully Dan will be here so you have a bit more of a substantial show. But thank you, and remember, as Supergirl will now say, look out.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto. Hunka hunka!
Fuck Jeff Snyder.